A mountain of solitude. One morning, a 35-year-old traveler named Jack decided to hike to the summit of Thunder Peak, which rose nearly 5 miles of winding trails above the valley floor. After several hours navigating rugged paths strewn with loose rocks and dense pine groves, he finally reached the top. With the crisp mountain air filling his lungs, Jack felt an overwhelming surge of joy. It seemed to him that he was the only person in the entire world who had ever made it to that lofty height. Yet, as Jack gazed across the vast panorama of rolling hills and sparkling rivers below, he suddenly noticed someone else. A 60-year-old monk named Brother Elijah sat cross-legged a few yards away, quietly meditating on a large flat boulder. The sight stunned Jack, who couldn't imagine anyone living up here so far from civilization. Curious and somewhat puzzled, Jack approached the monk. "Excuse me," he said, clearing his throat. "What are you doing in such a remote place all by yourself? Aren't you scared of being alone?" Brother Elijah opened his eyes. His voice was calm and measured as he replied, "I come here to meditate. I've lived on this mountain for quite some time, and I feel no fear at all." Jack looked around at the sheer cliffs and heard the sound of the wind whistling through the rocks. "You really live up here alone?" he asked. "Don't you ever feel lonely?" The monk offered a kind smile. "Solitude has often been given a negative label," he said gently, "so people usually try to avoid it. However, solitude brings many advantages. It's why I choose to spend so much time here by myself." Jack exhaled, recalling his bustling city life. "I live in a place where everything is fast-paced," he explained, "and I'm always surrounded by coworkers, friends, or family. I'm not used to being alone, and whenever I do find myself by myself, I get bored. Negative thoughts start pouring into my mind. Could you please tell me how to enjoy solitude? And what exactly are the benefits of being alone?" Brother Elijah nodded thoughtfully. "If you're truly interested, I'll share what I've learned." He took a moment to adjust his posture, then began to speak in a calm but resonant tone. 1. Increased efficiency. "The first benefit of spending time alone," the monk said, "is that it can make you more efficient. People who regularly embrace solitude tend to work with greater focus. When you're alone, your mental energy isn't scattered by the presence of others. You can concentrate on your task and complete it in less time. In a busy environment, our attention gets pulled in every direction. Conversations, background noise, constant interruptions. But in solitude, your energy accumulates in one place, sharpening your focus. This heightened concentration allows you to accomplish more while feeling less drained. That's why those who practice regular solitude often excel in their work or studies." 2. Sparked creativity and new ideas. Brother Elijah continued, "Another advantage is that solitude sparks creativity. When you're alone, your mind gains the freedom to wander, generating new ideas and insights. Consider inventors and scientists like Einstein or Newton. Many of their breakthroughs occurred when they were by themselves, deeply absorbed in contemplation. Artists, writers, and anyone who relies on creative thinking often prefer to spend time alone because new thoughts and fresh perspectives flow more readily in a quiet, distraction-free environment. When there's no one to interrupt, your imagination can soar in limitless directions, helping you devise innovative solutions or create original works. If you want to do something truly meaningful in life, I suggest carving out a few peaceful moments every day. Faster learning. Spending time in solitude, the monk went on, also makes people fast learners. There are 2 main reasons for this. First, they have a strong capacity for concentration, as we just discussed. Second, they often devote solitary hours to reading, researching, or exploring new topics. When you're not rushing off to social commitments, you can dedicate energy to self-study. Over time, your brain becomes more adept at processing and retaining information. Whether you're a student studying for exams or a professional seeking new skills, solitude can be incredibly beneficial. A daily dose of quiet can accelerate your ability to grasp difficult concepts. 4. Greater happiness from within. Brother Elijah looked out at the sweeping view of mountains and valleys. A fourth benefit, he said, is that those who spend time alone often experience genuine happiness from within. True happiness isn't about external events, it emerges from your own sense of contentment. If you can't be happy by yourself, you won't be any happier in a crowd of thousands. People who regularly spend time in solitude learn how to find joy within themselves. They regard themselves as their own best friend. Once you make friends with yourself, you realize you can be happy in any situation. At work, at home, or even on top of a remote mountain. 5. Better listening and greater respect. Jack leaned forward to catch every word. The monk continued, "A fifth benefit is that people who spend time in solitude tend to become better listeners and are often more respected in social settings. Those who talk non-stop sometimes interrupt others before they finish speaking, which can diminish respect. On the other hand, individuals accustomed to quiet reflection develop patience. They wait until the other person has completed their thought before responding. They speak carefully and deliberately, so what they say carries more weight. This behavior impresses people and fosters a sense of admiration. Over time, such a person gains a reputation for wisdom and thoughtfulness. 6. Improved relationships. Brother Elijah paused for a moment, letting the breeze pass. It might sound contradictory, he said, but solitude can actually improve your relationships. When you spend time alone, you start to appreciate the people in your life more. You also have the mental space to reflect on any challenges in your relationships, including your own role in conflicts or misunderstandings. By being in silence, you can observe your emotional patterns and habits. This clarity helps you address problems more effectively. As you become more self-aware, you're better equipped to cultivate harmonious connections with friends, family, and colleagues. 7. Enhanced brain and mental health. Another essential aspect, the monk said, gently resting his hands on his knees, is that solitude and silence are wonderful for your mental health. When your mind quiets down, your body reduces the production of cortisol, the stress hormone, and increases the release of dopamine and serotonin, the hormones that influence happiness. Spending even a short amount of time each day in solitude can boost your mood, lower stress levels, and help you maintain a calmer outlook on life. In our hectic modern world, finding this inner calm is more critical than ever for preserving emotional well-being. 8. Deeper self-awareness and easier meditation. Finally, Brother Elijah lowered his voice as though sharing a cherished secret. Solitude also makes it easier to meditate and discover your true self. Most people understand that meditation can lead to a more peaceful and balanced life. But many struggle with the discipline it requires. When you're used to sitting with yourself in stillness, it's much simpler to slip into a meditative state. Patience and self-discipline come naturally to someone who consistently spends quiet time alone. And as you meditate, all the roles you play in public, worker, friend, parent, fade away for a while, revealing your deeper identity. This process heightens your self-awareness and mindfulness. You begin recognizing your genuine aspirations, your innermost fears, and your authentic desires. Once you're on that path, your spiritual life can flourish, and you'll also see positive changes in your day-to-day experiences. When the monk finished speaking, Jack felt a deep surge of gratitude. His eyes shone with renewed understanding, and he bowed respectfully to Brother Elijah. In his heart, Jack resolved to devote a portion of each day to quiet solitude, no matter how hectic his city life might be. Before setting out on his descent, Jack thanked Brother Elijah once more for his profound guidance. As he carefully traversed the rocky slope on his way back down the 5-mile trail, he couldn't help but feel a spark of excitement about incorporating the monk's wisdom into his own life. So my friends, if you too are inspired by Brother Elijah's words, try spending a bit of time in solitude each day. Whether it's in a quiet room, a secluded corner of your local park, or even just a brief pause in your busy schedule, these moments of calm can open the door to greater efficiency, creativity, learning, and genuine happiness. With solitude, you might just discover a whole new perspective on life. And that is a gift well worth receiving.